Welcome to the Impact Library. Former President Donald Trump has sent shockwaves across the world with a controversial new plan. He suggests that the United States should take over Gaza. Trump's proposal comes amidst a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, the militant group that controls Gaza. This unexpected declaration has ignited a firestorm of debate and condemnation, throwing the already volatile Middle East into further uncertainty. Trump, known for his unconventional foreign policy decisions, made the announcement during a recent rally. Global outrage, world leaders condemn Trump. The international community reacted with a mixture of disbelief and outrage. The United Nations Secretary-General issued a statement expressing deep concern over Trump's proposal, warning that it could have catastrophic consequences for the region and beyond. The European Union also condemned the plan, calling it unacceptable and counterproductive. Even some of America's closest allies, such as the United Kingdom and Canada, distanced themselves from Trump's proposal. The Arab League held an emergency meeting where its members unanimously condemned Trump's plan and vowed to stand by the Palestinian people. Is this the end? Fears of war grip the world. Trump's unexpected and controversial plan has injected a new level of uncertainty and fear into an already volatile region. The potential ramifications of such a move are enormous, with the potential to ignite a larger conflict, destabilize the entire Middle East, and draw the United States into another costly and protracted war. Introducing American troops into this highly volatile environment could have disastrous consequences, potentially triggering a violent backlash from Hamas and other militant groups. The world holds its breath, hoping to avert another devastating conflict in the Middle East. Fury on Capitol Hill. Lawmakers denounce Trump's Gaza proposal. Trump's bombshell sent shockwaves through the halls of Congress, triggering a bipartisan wave of condemnation and disbelief. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle were quick to denounce the former president's proposal, calling it reckless, dangerous, and completely out of touch with reality. Veteran Senator Dianne Feinstein, DCA, a respected voice on foreign policy, called Trump's proposal utterly ludicrous and a recipe for disaster. She warned that injecting American troops into the volatile Gaza Strip would be like throwing gasoline on a fire, putting American lives at risk and further destabilizing the region. Republican Senator Mitt Romney, RUT, a frequent critic of Trump, labeled the proposal delusional and unhinged. He accused Trump of playing politics with people's lives and jeopardizing decades of U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. Speaker Nancy Pelosi, DCA, issued a scathing statement, calling Trump's proposal a dangerous and irresponsible escalation that threatened to ignite a wider conflict. A nation divided, Americans grapple with Trump's Gaza bombshell. Trump's Gaza Takeover proposal landed like a grenade in the heart of America, igniting a fierce debate and further dividing a nation already grappling with deep political polarization. Supporters of the former president cheered the proposal as a bold and decisive action that would finally bring peace to the troubled region. They echoed Trump's claims that the U.S. was the only country capable of solving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and argued that a strong American presence in Gaza was necessary to combat terrorism and ensure stability. However, a significant portion of the American public expressed deep concern and apprehension over Trump's proposal. They questioned the wisdom of involving the U.S. in yet another foreign conflict, particularly in such a volatile and complex region. The nation held its breath, uncertain of what the future held, but bracing for further turmoil and uncertainty. Ticking time bomb experts warn of dire consequences. As the initial shockwaves of Trump's Gaza proposal reverberated across the globe, foreign policy experts and analysts scrambled to assess the potential consequences of such a drastic move. Dr. Fawaz Gerges, a renowned scholar of Middle Eastern politics, cautioned that Trump's plan was a recipe for endless war. Ambassador Dennis Ross, a veteran diplomat, warned that Trump's proposal was divorced from reality and would likely backfire, further inflaming tensions. The International Crisis Group issued a stark warning that a U.S. takeover of Gaza would be a gift to extremist groups on all sides. A history of intervention, U.S. involvement in the Middle East. For decades, the region has been a focal point of American foreign policy, marked by a complex web of alliances, interventions, and unintended consequences. The seeds of U.S. involvement were sown in the aftermath of World War II, as the collapse of European colonialism created a power vacuum in the region. The discovery of vast oil reserves further heightened the Middle East's strategic importance, turning it into a battleground for influence between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. The 1979 Iranian Revolution marked a turning point in U.S.-Middle East relations. The 1991 Gulf War, triggered by Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait, marked another pivotal moment in U.S. involvement in the Middle East. Seeds of discord, the legacy of past U.S. interventions. The long shadow of past U.S. interventions in the Middle East looms large over Trump's Gaza proposal, serving as a stark reminder of the unintended consequences and often disastrous outcomes of such actions. The 2003 invasion of Iraq, launched on the premise of dismantling Saddam Hussein's alleged weapons of mass destruction program, serves as a cautionary tale of the perils of U.S. interventionism. The U.S. intervention in Libya in 2011, which aimed to oust Muammar Gaddafi, offers another stark example of the complexities and potential pitfalls of intervening in the Middle East. These past interventions, often driven by noble intentions but lacking a comprehensive understanding of the region's intricate dynamics, have left behind a legacy of instability and resentment. A parallel reality echoes of Iraq and Afghanistan. Trump's Gaza takeover proposal draws eerie parallels to the U.S. interventions in Iraq and Afghanistan, raising serious concerns about the potential for history to repeat itself. Both the Iraq and Afghanistan wars were initially framed as interventions aimed at transforming these countries into beacons of democracy and stability. The U.S. military, despite its overwhelming firepower and technological superiority, found itself bogged down in protracted conflicts fueled by local resistance, sectarian divisions, and the rise of insurgencies. The specter of Iraq and Afghanistan serves as a sobering reminder of the limitations of military force in solving complex political and social problems. A Gaza under siege. The human cost of Trump's proposal. Lost in the political firestorm and geopolitical chess game surrounding Trump's Gaza takeover proposal is the human cost, the plight of the Palestinian people trapped in the crosshairs of a conflict not of their making. The Gaza Strip, a densely populated enclave already teetering on the brink of a humanitarian catastrophe, would bear the brunt of any American intervention, further deepening the suffering of its inhabitants. Imagine, if you will, the daily reality of life in Gaza: crippling poverty, chronic shortages of food, water, and medicine, and the constant threat of violence. The international community has long recognized the dire humanitarian situation in Gaza, with the United Nations repeatedly warning of an impending crisis. Trump's Gaza takeover proposal, far from alleviating the suffering of the Palestinian people, would likely exacerbate their plight, plunging them deeper into a vortex of violence and despair. The potential consequences of Trump's Gaza takeover extend far beyond the borders of the Gaza Strip, threatening to ignite a regional conflagration with unpredictable and potentially catastrophic consequences. The Middle East, already a tinderbox of geopolitical tensions and sectarian conflicts, would be further destabilized by such a move, sending shockwaves across the region and beyond. Israel, already wary of any perceived threat to its security, would likely view a U.S. takeover of Gaza with deep suspicion, fearing that it could embolden Hamas and other militant groups. Neighboring countries, already grappling with their own internal challenges and regional rivalries, would be drawn into the vortex of conflict, exacerbating existing tensions and potentially leading to a wider war. The potential for a humanitarian catastrophe on a massive scale, with millions displaced and countless lives lost, cannot be overstated. Trump's Gaza proposal assumes the US can impose its will globally, a belief rooted in American foreign policy. This illusion of control has led the US down a perilous path in the Middle East. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict defies simple solutions. Believing the US can impose a solution ignores historical lessons. The US lacks the cultural sensitivity and political capital to act as an honest broker. Peace requires dialogue, compromise, and recognizing both sides' aspirations. A shift in mindset is essential for coexistence in peace and security. Donald Trump's audacious proposal to take over Gaza stands as a chilling testament to his tumultuous presidency. It reveals his impulsive decisions and disdain for expert opinion. This episode serves as a reckoning for America, grappling with its global role. The global outcry highlights the erosion of American credibility. The world is wary of the American solution, often at a terrible cost. As the world grapples with the fallout of Trump's presidency, his Gaza proposal stands as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the allure of simplistic solutions to complex problems. It is a call to choose a different path, one grounded in diplomacy, multilateralism, and a deep respect for international law. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, for all its seeming intractability, demands a renewed commitment to dialogue, a willingness to move beyond the entrenched narratives of the past and embrace a future where both sides can coexist in peace and security. This requires leadership, not from self-proclaimed strongmen peddling illusions of control, but from statesmen and women committed to the hard work of building bridges and fostering understanding. The US, for all its flaws and missteps, still retains the capacity to play a constructive role in this process. But it requires a fundamental shift in mindset, a recognition that its true strength lies not in its military might, but in its ability to lead by example, to champion diplomacy over coercion, and to work collaboratively with international partners to build a more just and peaceful world. The world stands at a crossroads, facing a choice between the path of conflict and division, exemplified by Trump's reckless gamble, and a path of cooperation and dialogue. The stakes could not be higher. The future of the Middle East and indeed the world may very well depend on the choices made in the days and years to come. Let us hope that sanity prevails. Let us choose diplomacy over disaster. The Impact Library is your go-to source for expert analysis, thought-provoking discussions, and in-depth information that empowers you to make informed decisions. Don't miss out on exclusive content that can transform the way you see the world. Subscribe today and be part of a community that values knowledge, growth, and impact.